Hey everybody, welcome to another new fresh episode of 1320 Stuff. I am here with my peoples. Y'all know the peoples by now. RJ, Lindsey, I'm Darryl. Those of y'all that are tuning in for the first time, mainly those of y'all that attend Boss, this has not been something you've been able to see. And so now we're bringing it to you as well. So you get to check it out. I hope you enjoy it. Again, those of you that, I told you guys this before, if this is not your cup of tea, don't watch it. Do not email complaining, fussing about why her dress so. You just leave her. She
look
fine.
At what
she not 90. Let her be who she gonna be. RJ got his cap on backwards. We're not in the sanctuary.
And we curse sometimes.
No. He curses. So,
whoa, I'm under attack. Is this an episode about sexism or?
But we're going to cover a whole bunch of topics, you guys. And I love them both. I've known them both for many years. They are brilliant. They are bold. So they will speak their minds, which is what we want to do. We really want to challenge you guys on how you think. We want to challenge you on the things you think about. And so we're going to cover all kinds of topics: relationships, religion, Jesus, Jesse, the Jonas Brothers. I can't think of another J. Jesse Smollett, Juicy Smollett. We're going to crack jokes. We're going to laugh. We're going to cry. We're going to talk about sports, all kind of stuff. It's going to cover everything under the sun. And so tune in, enjoy, share, like, hit the button, subscribe, and you will catch up with us every single week. Without anything else to say, we're going to get right into today's topic. Today's topic is sponsored by air. Brought to you by oxygen. And so, today, we just being silly right now. But listen, guys, today we're going to talk about a very interesting subject that has kind of been going on in the background. We've been talking about it. Folk that we know have been talking about it, and that is relationships, and specifically in relationships, cheating. What is cheating? Why does it matter differently to men? Why does it matter differently to women? What is monogamy? Is monogamy possible? So those of you that are dating somebody, interested in somebody, engaged to somebody, married to somebody, grab them, forward this to them, whatever.
Doubt it.
Share. Well,
last thing you try to do right now is have a conversation with your spouse about infidelity.
This is what you probably need, though, because some of y'all know your spouse is cheating, and y'all need to watch this together so y'all can make that decision. Just go and separate because y'all are living miserably together. So let it go.
He got COVID. Where'd he get it from? All right now. So
as if COVID is a sexually transmitted. We're going to find out later.
We're going to find out later that it is. Why? It's going to be like COVID is found to be transmitted. So we're just going to dive in as we've already talked about. So
what is cheating?
What is cheating?
That's how you call cheating.
Right.
Cheating is anything that you can't do in front of your significant other. That is me. So whether it's something physical, whether it's texting, whether it's talking, flirting, sliding in the DMs, all of that. If you can't comment certain things on somebody's post on social media and you slide in their DMs, then you already have the mindset that you're up to no good. So is anything that you can't do to me in front of your significant other that would not be a problem?
That's it. I agree with that.
That's really a good one.
100%. Although I do think like there are a lot of things that we do that we wouldn't necessarily do in front of the person that somewhat keep the relationship healthy. Like, to me, I always say, I feel like a certain level of attention and flirting is healthy for all human beings.
A certain level of attention and flirting from anyone? With anyone?
Yeah, with someone other than your spouse.
Really?
Yeah. I think that it's a natural part of life and a part of people's identity. I think that people enjoy a certain level of attention, a certain level of flirting that just reinforces things that maybe you already know, or, you know, you may be feeling down or you had that that man or that woman that's like, oh, you look really nice today, and that like
Is
turns
that
your
flirting?
day around.
So let me define
So
flirting.
that,
What's
Okay.
flirting?
that harmless flirting, that,
Well,
Yeah.
what is flirting? Because you're saying harmless flirting.
So
That sounds like a compliment.
So I think like if you, let's say it's the, you know, a boys' night and you going out with your friends, whatever. Y'all go out, y'all go to a bar, y'all go to, I don't know, people still go to clubs, but whatever. Y'all go out and there's women out. And a woman approaches you and kind of starts to engage you and like flirt with you. I do think that there is a level of that is healthy and okay. Now, when you go to exchange your phone numbers,
That's too far.
that's too far. But like if I'm out and somebody, you know, I dance with somebody or somebody comes over to me and we like having a conversation and laughing and it's a little flirtatious, I think that you go home to your spouse and you feel good. And it's like, it helps.
So
It's
flirting
healthy.
is only just the verbal kind of
Yeah.
banter.
And I don't think it should be consistent with the same person over and over. Like, you know what I mean?
Now we get some. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Things that,
So
like-
you can't flirt. You can't have a flirt friend.
No, you can't have a work husband, work wife. I think that's dangerous.
I've had work wives like for quite a while, but we're not talking about that. But to
I
your
mean, kind of
for quite a while.
I'm just saying.
Well, y'all on y'all
Because,
10th year
you know, that's-
anniversary or what?
Do y'all
That-
exchange gifts? What's happening
That's
here?
the term you put on that person because you become very close where you go to lunch together, y'all talk about personal. So it ain't no flirting there. So it's kind of people see y'all together. So when they see you, they gonna see you. That's what I mean by like work wife, work husband type of
Right,
thing.
but and that's different. Like sometimes you do just have your work buddy, and sometimes that person is of the opposite sex, or the same orientation that you would be interested in. However, there are some work wives or work husbands that you know are further than that.
That's
It's
true.
actual flirting. It's inappropriate. So I do think like just the person that you might eat lunch with, or like you laugh about, or you talk about personal things with a little bit more. That's one thing, but
So it's the access. So a random person out one night, you know, that banter is cool. But if it's somebody that has consistent access to you, that should not be a healthy flirting anything.
Agreed,
That's
yes.
just too much.
However, I hate to be complex on y'all because I am a woman, so it does get a little bit convoluted. So
fine.
while it's okay and I do think it's healthy, I don't want to see it. Right? So like, go with me here.
Okay.
I do think that helps people, and I think it's okay, and I think it's normal and natural. But now, if I just so happen to walk into a bar and I see you and it's a woman next to you and y'all kikiing and she hit you with the shoulder laugh, I ain't gonna like that.
You
And
can
now
do that.
that's
What's
a
wrong with
problem.
the shoulder laugh?
Nah, that's a problem because I saw it.
So
Now,
it's healthy as long as you don't see it.
yeah,
But to that point, I think it can be. So guys night out, some ladies come up flirting, makes you feel good because we all like to have our ego stroked. You know, we still got it or whatever, that we look good, especially if it's not happening on a regular basis at home. So me coming home telling my lady, yo, we was out, this chick, she was telling me this and that.
Oh, so you gonna go back and tell your
Why not? But here, there's a method to this madness. There's a method to it.
That's a whole lot.
There's a
right
method
there,
to it because one, it's gonna probably piss you off, but also at the same time, if you're not doing it, this is a sign for
Why
you.
not just
because
communicate that you're
okay.
not
Because do
doing
you
it?
want to sleep tonight? Oh, you came home to argue.
no, I
Because
did.
now we
No.
finna be up. And don't try to say you too drunk to talk right now. No, we finna talk right now because now you done come home trying to tell me who told you was cute.
But see here, that's how cheating
You know,
starts,
she
right?
likes the way my beard.
Perfect example, right? She liked my streak and you didn't like it. But here's the thing.
I wish somebody would come home telling me somebody likes something I ain't like. Oh, really?
We're in a relationship, but you don't compliment me, you don't do this, you don't do any of that stuff. So when I go out and get it, it makes me feel good, which in turn will probably make me take it a little step further because now I'm getting something that I'm lacking at home, right?
Now let's not start this conversation off blaming the spouse for your behavior.
I'm not blaming it.
And that's
but
immature to think
Yeah,
that you
you
need to
can't-
go get flirted with and come back and tell me so that you could tell me
I ain't gonna tell
I'm
you
not
like
doing
that.
something.
No, but I'm
But why
saying
not just say
Right.
no. I'm
compliment
just saying
me?
we've had conversations.
Okay,
This
you
is
say
hypothetical.
Oh,
we've
you
had
saying
conversations
conversation.
that
Okay.
we've, what's lacking on both of our ends, and
Yeah.
I'm telling you this. But that my whole point is that's what leads to cheating, right? Because we've had conversations, nothing's changing on your end.
And
So
at
now
that
I'm
point,
going
you ain't
out.
flirting, you interviewing.
Bingo.
That's fine. Well,
And coming back trying to tell me what the candidate's looking like. Boy, I wish you would.
So I got this resume
so
tonight, girl.
she's moving on to second level interview.
Oh, you trying to step up to the plate, or
do you want to resign?
is this your replacement? No, I definitely think that if you having an issue, if we're having some issues about things that you want to see or things that you want from me that I'm not doing, then that's a conversation. And I don't think that you can, I do think that not complimenting or meeting the needs of your spouse can open the door for cheating. But I also think that you can do all of those things and still be cheated on, because a lot of times cheating has more to do with ego. It has more to do with a level of selfishness. So you wanting what you want, period. You can do all of the things somebody wants and they can still go out and cheat.
So you mentioned before off camera that you've been having an ongoing dialogue about this.
Yes, tell us about
so
that.
please tell us, enlighten us about your ongoing dialogue.
No, so not necessarily about cheating. I've just had an ongoing conversation about like the things that men want and the things that men discuss versus the things that women want.
Give us an example.
Well, more so our conversation has been about social media and how everybody is on social media retweeting and tweeting and reposting memes that are like, if your man ain't doing this, if your man ain't doing that, or if your woman ain't doing this. And people are living in these like weird expectations that the internet is creating. And so like this idea that a man should be able to buy you a Birkin bag, or a man should be like women
Where
having.
they do that at?
Well, that's the internet conversation, right? Is that if your man ain't taking you on expensive dates,
I get you
or
a birthday bag,
taking you on no trips. So these are the things that women are looking for because of the internet, and then things that men are looking for from women because of the internet. So it wasn't really necessarily about infidelity. However, I do think that I did have one conversation where their thought was that if a man cheated, it was more acceptable than if a woman cheated. And he felt like it had more to do with just the way that men are in general. And his argument was that potentially monogamy is not natural. Not that people can't do it, but that it isn't the man's natural inclination or natural thing that he would do.
Very interesting.
And that society has created, damn men want to hit you with the Africa stuff. Like, we were stolen from Africa and they had multiple wives. And so now we live in this Europe.
So the argument was that it's
Westernized.
expected of men to cheat. So when men do it, it's not the same response from a woman as if a woman cheats and a man responds to her cheating.
Well, I don't know, because I think that men have really difficult times with women cheating. I think it was more about that it's more acceptable or expected for men to cheat than it is for women.
Well, that's why men have a more difficult time with women cheating, because
of this created idea. Because I wonder,
is that a created idea?
I don't know.
You all are wired differently. You're who expects the nurturer to be unnurturing? Like,
what if I could nurture you and nurture someone else? I have so much love to give.
Whoa. No,
but listen,
nurture one.
To that point, though.
No, look, now you're talking about some nurture one.
To that point, because I was having this conversation the other day too. To that point, why is it, and maybe a woman can speak to that, like a woman can be more forgiving to her man like 3, 4, 5 times for cheating, but you cheat on him, it's like he's on suicide watch. But I think it's an ego thing for men, because for men, I think like you're mine, you belong to me, nobody else can have you. And I know women have that same thought process, but it's just men are wired differently.
It's just we don't even
I don't even think there's an explanation for it, but it's just that way.
Part of me wonders if that is natural, innate, or if that has more to do with
what's natural.
That we don't even understand why we expect men to cheat and not women, or why the expectations are different. We can't explain it. Part of me wonders if that's natural or if it has more to do with the way that we're socialized and the fact that it's normalized that men cheat, We were just talking about Dr. Dre and his wife, and we said that he had 3 mistresses, and you said, well, he's Dr. Dre.
Well,
no, but when we were talking about the entanglement, it was like, why would you cheat on Will Smith? It's like, it's not, she's Jada Pinkett. Like, she's fine and could get anybody.
Part of it is psychology and how we're developed. When you grow up, for the most part, it is a woman that is mothering you, that is caring for you. When you injure yourself, it's a woman that's there. When you are sad, it's a woman that's there.
And men are painted as barbaric.
Yeah, like, and you don't, and the whole picture is dad is out working or the man is out doing this. Men don't cry. Men this. So
y'all out creating other families.
Your whole, hold on, that's a Lifetime movie.
What's wrong with that?
You done went to
Fences.
You done went to a whole nother thing. Fences and Lifetime. But it's the psychological aspect. You're not wired to see your mother as the abuser of sorts.
Abuser.
Abuser.
No, we're not wired to see women as sexual. We can take this back to male patriarchy. For some reason, the woman, because what you're describing is like a mammy. You really describing 1950s woman bringing the plate to the table.
How we are typically raised. You ask why is it such a shock for
women
us?
are not expected to be sexual beings. Your mama not. But
not my mom.
Right, but you're describing.
But you are sexualized.
But you're describing the woman from a child perspective. You're describing women as a mother perspective.
But that is how we develop out. We develop out of that.
But we don't think of dads as
Freud
anything.
That was talking about having that.
But the provider.
Exactly.
And we having arguments about whether or not the men should be providing. That's what's so funny about this conversation.
Who argued about men providing?
It's an argument about whether it needs to be 50-50, women wanting, or arguments about women wanting spousal support or child support or whatever. It's as if it's so much expectation on the woman, and the man gets these passes. Even this idea that men, I mean, as far as stepping up to the plate and those aspects and a family aspect. So having this conversation about whether or not the reason that we accept men cheating, I think it has more to do with us just not putting a lot of expectations on men in that.
I think it has a lot to do
giving too many passes.
I think it has to do with insecurities.
Expand.
And the women's insecurities.
Y'all just sat here and made it very clear that
who's y'all?
No, in some instances, right? Because a woman I won't say can, but she will tolerate staying with a man that's abusive physically, emotionally, verbally, who cheats, who do all of this stuff, and will stay there out of the insecurities that she have, whether she don't think she's attractive enough to get somebody else, or whether she can't financially support herself, or the years of emotional abuse that she's taken from the man, who now she thinks she's just less than. So now I don't have a choice but to stay in this situation because nobody else want me, and I ain't gonna be nothing else without him. So I'm probably just gonna stay in this situation.
You
are you crazy?
I'm just saying, you can't tell me that's not the situation for some women. It is.
That's the situation.
If you look below, you'll see RJ's email address. Direct all your comments to
RJ Carter at Boss Church.
Direct all your comments to him.
No,
there's some women watching who are probably nodding because they find themselves in this situation.
I think that you really simplified an extremely complicated and complex
I didn't
idea.
simplify it. I just
for sure.
Exposed it. I verbalized it, which they don't do.
Yeah,
but it's the same thing.
But
it's the nurturer in you all. It is the I can fix this. And your high pain threshold. There will be no kids if we had to have babies. You all have an extremely high pain threshold. This is a celebratory point, but I'm just saying. But because of that, you just naturally take more.
Do we have a high pain threshold, or is there no other option? Do we even have the option to not have? I mean, we say that as if women make a decision to have a high pain threshold.
You can decide to leave.
If we're gonna have babies, a woman's gonna get pregnant.
No, but let's go back to. I'm talking about the emotional trans. But you can decide to leave. You ain't got to stay with Ricky until he get himself together.
Right.
You know he cheating. You know he drunk every night. You know all this stuff. You ain't got to stay with him.
$1 million
Let's be
question.
clear.
Why are you staying there?
Most women, a lot of women today, as we've evolved, as a people, women don't stay as much anymore. Now, let's not forget that there are things that have been passed down, ideals, thought processes that have been passed down over generations. There was a time where women didn't have a choice. Now, that just doesn't go away because now we've woken up and now women can work and they can provide without men. The social caste and the way that the system was set up was that women could not live independently of a man. They couldn't prosper.
True.
So, yes, women were conditioned to take cheating, to take abuse, because here are men who have no emotional capacity and they're working so hard and they're having to do so much to provide, and then they still can't measure up. So then they're drinking, or then they're depressed, or then they're angry. And who is the person that ends up taking all of that? The woman.
I feel like there's some shade in there.
So, but I'm saying that is like, if you look back, if we're talking about Black families, that's the story for a lot of Black families back in the day for marriages. So then women grew up watching their mothers, men grew up watching their mothers take a whole lot of stuff and persevere. So then we start to think, oh, women have a higher pain threshold. They can handle this because they handled what they had to handle.
That still means you have a higher threshold.
No, it means you don't. And that, what do people say? You don't know how strong you are until you don't have any other choice. If I don't have any other choice,
that still means you had a threshold.
If you didn't have no other choice, you'd have a higher threshold.
No.
Yeah, you'd figure it out.
If men, it depends on what you're talking about. If we didn't have another choice, it wouldn't happen. It just wouldn't be. That's why we're having this conversation now, because it is women stay when men cheat. Men do not tend to stay when a woman cheats. It is broken-hearted, boo-boo. We lose our mind.
I don't know.
Then we be like,
I think to your point, it's this whole generational thing, and it's passed down. So
it's generational?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So we grow up and we see, like, obviously, and I think it was just a generation thing. So in my family, you've seen the uncles and the grandfathers, physically or verbally abusive to the aunts and the grandmothers, and you take it and then you think they're still there. So they must really love them. They're still cleaning, they're still cooking. So we, as children and teenagers, you see that as love. So you grow up, now you're a young man, and you think that's okay for you to do because your father, your uncles, everybody did. And on the female side is like, that's what love is. If he ain't hitting me, or if he's not abusive, then he don't love me. So it takes a very strong individual to break that curse, probably going through therapy to tap into and realizing why you're the way you are as an adult now. Many of us don't go to therapy. So we just grow up and we continue to be broken until we die, basically, and stay in these unhealthy situations and relationships because we don't know how to fix it. We don't know how to get out of it. But I think it all boils down to insecurities on both ends, both male and female.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of 1320 Stuff. So glad you joined us. Don't forget, before you leave, like, subscribe, share with your friends and your family. I'm sure they'll find some great stuff in there. Talk to you. See you soon. Peace.